Good morning, 9:27 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, May 19th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning. Before I play the little intro, XRP is down 1.57%, but this is exactly what we were talking about yesterday. For anybody who watched a couple updates, the short, was involved in the live, we talked about on this inverse head and shoulders, if this is going to hold, we would likely come back to that 513 and or 516 level. We targeted the 513 because this is the cup and handle support, and we figured that if we were to get a bounce, we would need some kind of drop down to support to get a nice parabolic bounce that could bring us up to that 57-cent layer. Now, as we talked about yesterday, this would have to hold, and this was the area I was talking about where I thought it would be an interesting spot to take a shot here. The RSI is oversold in the hourly. 2 hourly, it's going to be up in the oversold in 31 minutes. The 45 minutes oversold, 30-minute oversold, and starting to round a little bit. If I was a betting man, I would say if we're going to have any kind of bounce back, it would be within this area. And then we'll probably come back and back test 52 cents even if we get rejected. But we have to see if this area has any chance of holding, if there's any support, because this is a logical level on this inverse head and shoulders that we would come back down to. Now, if we do break down more than this, the next obvious area would be coming back down to this 496 layer. But if you do that, there's a very high probability we could invalidate this inverse head and shoulders. So if we want this to play out in a truthful fashion on this inverse head and shoulders, this is where I was targeting the comeback if it was going to be able to play out of here. And this is just a small scale, and it is bouncing back like anticipated, but you're going to need to get a nice parabolic bounce off that 51.3 area roughly. 2 hourly, like I said, is pushing into the oversold. Hourly, severely oversold. 45, severely oversold. 30 minutes starting to round, but still looking pretty bearish, until we do have the reversal. But this is exactly where the patience yesterday, as it went up, I talked about you'd have to have patience. It went up to the 53-cent area. Now it's retraced by 3.1%. And now it's in that actual area where, to me, it's pretty interesting. Would you take a shot here? If you do, you'd have to have a very conscious level of a stop loss, but you obviously need to see if it plays off of this. Right now we're at 51.23, which is essentially just below this area. It's really going to try to do a reversal here, though. This was the area that I anticipated that it would have some kind of reversal. Whether it's a reversal that gets a rejection here very quickly, like if we look in the 30-minute, and it comes through where the death cross is at 51.87, that's to be determined. I can't exactly tell you the exact spot, if it's going to reverse or not, or if it's going to continue to break down. But we do know that that targeted area right now is around 51.3 cents. It's something that we telegraphed yesterday, and now it comes to the fact of, if you were to take a shot here, you would have to be very, very cautious, because you're looking for this inverse head and shoulders to pan out. You really don't want this to lose this 50.9 cents, but you really don't even want it to come down there. You want it to bounce off of this 51.3 cents. And it's not that it's just a, I'm going to buy it anywhere. This was a concerted observation that it should come down here, even if it was bullish, to back test this formation. And this is the cup and handle formation. If we start to dig deeper into the current formation and try to get some kind of overall pattern rotation, we can do that in just a second. But please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube recommends this update. I would be greatly appreciative if you would hit that like button so that more and more people can find my community, as the crypto topics are being suppressed on YouTube, and not just as an influencer, but when I share as somebody just trying to find information, it's definitely being suppressed for one reason or another. I'm assuming it's because of the government not wanting the USA to be fully adapted into crypto. So we obviously will have to look at this from a cautious standpoint. But right now it looks like that inverse head and shoulders is building out very nicely. And if this can bounce off of this layer, this is an area I've been paying attention to the last 48 hours. We come through, if this can hold this layer and bounce off, this should open up the door to a move up near, that's about 57 cents, that first layer, or 55. But then it should open it up to about 57.5 and then possibly 64 cents. So this is everything right now. on this Sunday morning, this is everything at this 51.3 cent layer. If this breaks down, it's going to break down, it could break down this inverse head and shoulders. So that's why this layer is so important, so very, very important. But we'll continue talking about the XRP Bitcoin pairing as it's down 1.28%, and I bought a nice amount more yesterday when it was at right around where it's at right now. Bitcoin's down 200 points, down 0.3%. Also looking like it's putting in that inverse head and shoulders. So unless this gets invalidated, it's going to be an interesting proposition here, because if Bitcoin continues to come down, you could come down here to 65,300 and validate a back test. But Bitcoin's working on its own inverse pattern that should bring it up to 72,000 or 70,000 area. So this is very interesting indeed. We'll get into the XRP Bitcoin pairing as it's down 1.28% to 769. Continued buying yesterday at around the 771 level. I was very happy about that. Early this AM, added a nice amount. I'm going to continue doing it until it finds its rotation. But let's get into the intro, and then we'll get back into this. So please make sure to hit that like button as the intro is playing, so YouTube recommends this update and more people can find my content in their YouTube news feed. And then if you're looking to trade XRP in the USA or worldwide, video description below under pinned comments is BITUNIX. Lowest spot and leverage trading fees that I found in the USA, but you can trade it worldwide. No VPN worldwide either, so you don't have to feel like a criminal to trade XRP like they want you to feel in the USA. And then besides that, they have, you don't need to use a KYC unless you're depositing or transferring from a bank account. So consider that. And if you want to show me personal support, consider sending one YouTube super chat per month or joining Tom's Army. I'll catch you on the other side of the intro. And please make sure to hit that like button in these few seconds you have. Okay, so welcome back. As we're seeing right now, XRP's fiddling with that 51.3 cent level. If we were to take a closer look at this and see exactly what's going on, as we know, it's trying to bounce off of this inverse head and shoulders, but right now it's at the cup and handle support. And it's a perfect back test right now. A nice way to dump liquidity, a nice way in the smaller time frames to open up the door for oversold conditions. We do need to, at some point here, hold one of these support levels. And this is exactly where we're going to want to try to hold this. If we're looking at this from an inverse head and shoulders perspective, let me delete this so I can, so we can do a little bit of analysis here. Because we're going to want to try to see exactly how this is panning out. And right now it's difficult. It's really difficult right now if you look at this just in these smaller time frames to even look at any kind of rhythm right now, or to see if we've bottomed or... But we have come down to that cup and handle support, which to me is very important. This is a telegraph move that we thought yesterday was going to happen. I suppose you could look something like this and see a wick. You could look at kind of like this, and maybe that was the... I want to say that something like this is what ended up developing here. Now, if it breaks through there, 49.6 cents is more than likely the outcome. But right now, this is exactly where we were telegraphing this area. So pay attention to this as the morning goes on, because this very well could be the bounce area for XRP. Because it came right down to this beautiful, it's just a perfect bounce spot. Now it's got an engulfing in the 3-minute. Man, that's not a bad spot. It's like 512 is the exact level on this support, but on this cup and handle, that 513, it's trying to put a little reversal in right here. So that is the area. It is dangerous, but that is the area for the reversal. This is absolutely how I was expecting it to play out last night. So if it does hold this, this is where you can get a nice bounce. As you can see, 45 is extremely oversold. The hourly is extremely oversold. The 30 is going to start to push back here a little bit. But we're getting into these extremely oversold conditions. So It's going to be a minute. This is going to bounce around for a minute. Like the hourly is going to bounce around. It'll probably give a little bit of a push up, but it's still got a reversal in the 1 minute. So we're going to have to watch this very closely. It's going to try to take a reverse pattern, but when is it going to be ready is the question. Is it going to bounce right off of here? Is this the first signs of the reversal, as we do have a engulfing candle here in the 5 minute? It could very well be the start of that reversal right now. 15 minutes bounced off the bottom at 513 roughly, and now it's pushing back up. It's into the 514 area now. So these are the appropriate areas where, if you think a bounce was going to happen, 51.3 was a beautiful targeted area. And the level of consolidation makes sense. It certainly makes sense this morning. So when you're watching this technical analysis, make sure you pay attention to that 51.3 cent area on that cup and handle support, as we are still very much within an inverse head and shoulders. So it was a nice come down here this morning. On the XRP market cap, we're down 1.36% to 28.435 billion. And we know the pattern setup here to see if we can break out of this area. And so far in the short term, we know we've started to break down here, which is interesting. The short-term consolidation broke down to the bearish side. If it continues to go bearish, you could find yourself down at 27.5 billion. You really could, unless it does rotate very quickly, as we're in the oversold areas now. So if this is the back test right now, the likelihood is here. We had a breakdown. This should come back up and retest 28.65 billion. It's not a huge pull up, but it is certainly possible that we do back test that drop point. So that is something to really pay attention to this morning in this technical analysis, is do we come back and back test and get rejected on the total crypto market cap for XRP at 28.8 billion roughly, or 28.9 billion. That'll be something to watch as the day goes on. The XRP Bitcoin pairing is pretty flat. It's down 1.16% to 770 sat level. I was able to get a fantastic buy again here, continuing to buy in. And it was earlier this morning that I ended up buying this one. It came down to 769, came down through 7670, somewhere around 769 that I bought more. So I'm up over 3,000 in the XRP Bitcoin pairing. My average continues to come down closer to that 7.8 sat level now. So it's been a pretty impressive just consolidation that I've been able to accumulate. And now, as we can see in the 15, we're extremely oversold. 30-minute oversold, 45 oversold, 1 hourly oversold, 2 hourly is going to be approaching, as it is oversold right now, 3 hourlies in the oversold, 4 hourlies in the oversold. Daily time frame is eking up there. This is suggesting in the short term that we're going to have some kind of reversal for XRP in terms of its relation to Bitcoin. Now, does that mean Bitcoin breaks down a lot faster and XRP makes a rise? That only time will tell. Or do they both drop and XRP drops slower? That is also only time can tell. But this is definitely suggesting we might be tapping out here as far as down to support. So it's going to be a really interesting dynamic to watch the rest of the weekend. We do know the weekly candle close is tonight. So we're about 11 hours away from the weekly candle close, 10 hours and 19 minutes to be exact. So that is also something to pay attention to as well as we get closer to tonight's daily close for the weekly candle close here. Bitcoin is down 36 points to 66,878. We're still maintaining a very impressive support after an attempted breakout. There is the chance that we can backtest here, as we talked about on the opening, 65,291, if we have to come back down any farther and backtest. But right now, Bitcoin is playing off of this inverse head and shoulders very nicely. And I'll just draw it out so everybody can see it. But it is playing off of this very nice. You got the inversion, the arm. Now, if it bounces out, now you can have a nice swing here. And the next big swing would bring you up to around that 72, 73,000 level. So if this inverse head and shoulders plays true, we should be looking at around that 72, 73,000 level in the short term. And that would be very nice for our cryptocurrencies as well. It'd be a very good sign for XRP. It'd be a very good sign for what we're watching here, the XRP Bitcoin pairing, if we can continue to rally up with XRP. It looks like we could have a significant breakout here, as we could be pushing to 64 cents, but that is absolutely imperative that we hold this 51.3 cent level so that we don't come down and have a potential of invalidating this inverse head and shoulders. You could come all the way down to 50.8 cents and I would still feel okay with it, but I really don't want to knock down the support structure at 51.3 cents. So right now it's literally on the support structure. It's just a matter of, can it rotate out of here? Everything we're seeing on the charts is suggesting that if it holds this level, we could have a nice spike out of here. We really could, as a lot of people were likely liquidated today who were going long on that break back down. This is the pattern formation in the short term that it's trying to set up. And that means even if it's bearish, it could pull us, as we're right around the 514 level. It could have a 1.2% back test here, and maybe that's what it's trying to do. But as of right now, as we see, we came down, we touched it, or we touched that cup and handle formation, and that's allowing us to try to bounce off of this area now, which is that yellow line, and that's exactly how we drew it out. So if it bounces off of this inverse right arm at 51.3 cents, that would be absolutely best case scenario right now. It would be best case scenario, and we could try to have some kind of reverse rally here. 5 minute, we're trying to start pushing bullish. We can see a little W reversal that formed. So now if you were to buy it here, you could always have a stop loss under the swing low. So if you're looking at the perpetual futures chart, you could always have a stop loss under the swing low at 512, have a nice quick swing, and then if it fails, obviously it's a quick in and out type of situation. As usual, when I do the update, I cost myself a position because I was going to buy at 513, but I was trying to play this update through, and now it went from 5124, 5121 all the way up to 5148. So I should have walked and grabbed my phone and did what I was going to, but that is what it is. So just pay attention to this opportunity here, as I like to buy specific spots, and that was a perfect opportunity. It just so happened to hit it right as I was doing this update, which is typical. So I hope you got something out of this morning update. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube will recommend this and more people can see this update, because I believe it's very, very imperative information we have here. Subscribe to the channel if you do appreciate what I do here each and every day, as we did go over 21,600 subscribers, so I'm very happy about that. So if you want to see continued updates, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Be helpful in the comments. We do positivity over negativity here. We want to be helpful, not hurtful. We want people to ask questions, not feel afraid to ask them and then they keep it to themselves. So I really want to see a unified way in the comments. And other than that, just watch this 51.3 cent level. That's what I'm going to be watching all day for. Make sure that 51.3 level doesn't give way. I'm looking for that opportunity, so when I go back inside, if it gives me it, I will absolutely take advantage of it. I'm already deep in XRP with over 10,000 tokens at 34 cents. I'm up over $3,200 right now in the XRP Bitcoin pairing, and I'm down about 1.1% right now in the pairing. But other than that, I have a very nice unified position that's building up. I'm building into it every single day, and depending on where the levels go is dependent on how much I buy. But it's been a spectacular consolidation right now, because I can see what's starting to build. We see what's starting to build with XRP. And one last look here. This is the little formation that it's built. So we're going to want to hold that 512 at worst case scenario. That's why I said if you're taking a swing, you can use that area as a support structure. And if it breaks 512, it's probably not good. Right now, this inverse head and shoulders broke right down to the cup and handle support at 513. On the other chart, it's 512, but that's the United States Digital Tether, or that's the USDT Perpetual Futures chart. So those prices are a little more volatile. So that's why it looks a little bit different. But this is, in fact, the cup and handle formation. And this is what we're going to want to bounce off of and have our attempt back up to 57 cent first area. And then if you break that, you have a real chance to getting to 64 cents. But this is all contingent on the fact that 51.3 cents holds and that we can rally out of here in a unified way. I'm going to release this update. I want to get ready because I'm going to go to church here in about an hour. So don't forget to give thanks to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ here on this Sunday morning. And be kind to each other. The message here today is be kind, be courteous, and be helpful. A unified and loving message always brings more people the power of positivity and the peace and love. Instead of shaming somebody and driving them away, we can help each other this morning. Have a blessed morning, and thank you all for being a part of this family.